You guys know, because a lot of times I get guys that say, hey, I want drilled and slotted rotors, but I just wanted to show you something.
Hey guys, Ed over here at FICM Repair to talk to you a little bit about this video from Sylvester about the rotational direction of slotted and cross drilled rotors. And Sylvester, you're 100% right, my friend. Heat dissipation is a thing, and the whole reason why you want slotted and cross drilled rotors is to go ahead and dissipate that heat. If you've ever been towing and you didn't get a tune from us for some unknown reason, why would that be? And so you don't have Jake brake functionality that'll just knock your freaking socks off. And sidebar on that, with my Excursion, which is not a light truck, right? I mean, I've been hooked up to a 33-foot travel trailer in that bad boy coming down from Pikes Peak, and I tap the brakes at the top of the hill, and I guess they call them mountains over there. We call them hills in Iowa. Tap the brakes at the top of the mountain, at the top of the hill, and man, I never had to hit the brake pedal again all the way down. My handy Andy Mr. Power Stroke took care of me all the way, and so I just maintained speed. I didn't gain speed, nothing, and that's pretty not bad. But if you need to establish brakes and you don't have this feature, or you just need to slow down a little faster, the last thing you want to have is brake fade. Brake fade happens when things get too toasty, and imagine you got your little brakes there and they're trying to squeeze, right? And all of a sudden they get so hot that they start what's called outgassing, and so that's when things get so toasty that a layer of air essentially goes ahead and forms between the brake pad and the spinning rotor, and you can press that brake pedal all you want to and you're getting nothing, and that's scarier than crap because none of us want to die. Okay, so what you want to do is in addition to, and by the way, if you do want to die, just hit me up. Let's have a conversation. Whatever you're going through, I'm here to tell you it's a season, and I got you. So FICM Repair and personal health services. At any rate, we all need a friend. It's all good. But at any rate, back to our scheduled programming. I digress. Squirrel, shiny. When you're going down the hill and you're hitting the brakes and you're just lightly pushing on the brakes the entire time, recognize how much heat you're building. And so you want to go ahead and you want to get rid of that heat as best as you possibly can. So outgassing the brakes is a thing. Let's not let that happen to you, because that's horrible. Down that path, let's rotate our rotors correctly. Let's go ahead and pick up those slotted and cross-drilled rotors. Gonna get some love. I'm gonna get some hate out of this comment. I really like power stops, and there's other pads out there. Recognize that they all have benefits and they all have drawbacks. The ceramic ones, they do their best after they've heated up a little bit. The organic ones, they don't have the net stopping power, but they'll stop. They'll apply more friction when they're cold. But how long does it take to go from cold to hot? Not very long. And so in a 60 to 0 mile an hour stop, I think what you're going to find is that some power stops are going to do some pretty a-okay for you. And yes, they're available for sale on FICMRepair.com. But the point of this is not to say you can buy to FICMRepair.com, although you can. And why are you giving your business someplace else? I don't understand. But what you could do is when you install your deals on the right direction, you're probably like, what in the world does he have a Harbor Freight clamping dial indicator on the back of this guy for? So I'll tell you what, if you don't have this tool, spend the $40 at Harbor Freight, maybe get yourself a 20% off coupon if they're still doing that, and get this, because a lot of guys don't. So what you do when you take your rotors off, you go ahead and you take your wire wheel, whatever, and you dress up that mating surface so it's nice and pretty, and you don't have any rust on there or anything else, so it's nice and beautiful, and the mating surface is good, and you don't have any kind of wobble. You don't want that thing mounting like this. You want it mounting, straight up, right? So you go ahead and you mount it. You take a couple of your lug nuts and just a little bit to hold that rotor on there. You take this clamping dial indicator, you take your vice grip and attach it on something that's not going to move, like a strut tower mount or something, and then you take this little curly guy and you twist it, and you get the dial indicator so that this little end right here is just barely touching the edge of the rotor, and then you spin the rotor. And there's some great YouTube videos on this if you want to look at, it's called lateral runout. And so what you want to do is you want to be within 2,000ths. So you got a little dial indicator here you zero it out, and then you take it around, you spin it, and it'll do like that. And at 2,000ths, that's the spec that you want to be in. Now maybe somebody here can explain why, because I don't actually know. That'd be great if you could hop in with the comments if you lasted this long. I appreciate you. But if you put it on, there it is, and it's like going like 20,000s, right? And you're like, oh my goodness. The answer is just to take the rotor off, rotate it 180 degrees, put it back on there, and I bet that you're within 2000s again. And you're like, why is that? I don't know why that is. I just know that it is. I also know that if you don't do this in your brake job, what'll happen is you're holding on to the brakes after a while. It's like, oh, I warped my rotors. You know what I'm talking about? People say they warped their rotors and on the brake pedals, pulsating brake pedal. Well, why is that? That's because the person who did the brake job originally, maybe you, don't know, just asking for a friend, did not use the clamping dial indicator to verify that you were within 2000s on that little wiggle at the time of installation. So if you'd done that, your brakes would have lasted longer and life would be very, very good. The other thing that I see people not doing because they're lazy, and it's like, what are you doing? Is you don't lubricate your slide pins on your caliper. Guys, recognize you got a caliper and you got pistons, on the one side. I don't care if it's a 1 piston, 2 piston, 4 piston, 8. I don't care how many pistons you've got pushing, and certainly the fancier ones have more pistons and that you end up with a smooth and even push and not one of these little kind of deals, all that, whatever. There's a whole conversation there that we can get into some other video if you want. If you want, by the way, ask and I'll shoot the video on it. It's fine. There's reasons. But what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to lubricate those slide pins so that caliper can very easily move side to side over that rotor that's in the middle. You got the rotor in the middle, you got the caliper on either side, and so now it's just hugging it on the top, and you want that thing to be able to go like this, no problem at all, to handle that little bit of nothing that you've got for lateral run out. When you don't, and all of a sudden you've got more lateral run than you want to, it's beating the crap out of your brake pads and it's causing uneven wear. So if ever you take brakes off and you find out that the inside is more worn than the outside or the outside is more worn than the inside, that's because you didn't lubricate your slide pins. And so what you do is you take them out. Gasoline is an unbelievably good solvent and certainly a lot less expensive than brake clean. Midwest guy showing up here. And you take your raw gasoline, you clean up all those pins, smooth it out, you blow out the little hole, nice, everything else, and get yourself some brake caliper grease. It's got to be brake caliper grease. This thing gets toastola, right? Serious temperatures. And so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and recognize the truth of that, and you get some caliper grease up on that slide pin, shove it in there, and then pull it back out again and re-grease it and shove it back in there again. It should be like, super, super, super nice. And so if you get brand new calipers, they 9 times out of 10 come with this grease, and that's fine. They're already greased, is what I'm trying to say. If you get some brake pads, sometimes the brake pads come with the grease, sometimes they don't. The better ones, the higher end ones tend to. But you want to go ahead and lubricate that, okay? So you lubricate your slide pins, good job out of you. You use a dial indicator, good job out of you. You make certain that your slotted and cross-drilled rotors, if you're one of the cool kids and you have that, are slated the right way. And somebody put in Sylvester's comment, oh yeah, the OEMs are pretty good about labeling them. Well, yes, they're labeling them for the people of us that are retarded. We've all been guilty. I mean, not raise my hand first, right? But if you understand the physics of how it works, it starts to make sense. It's a lot like directional rotation on tires, right? Where the water gets pushed away from the edge of the tire instead of pushed into it and cause you to hydroplane, which we don't want that either. So there's a lot to know in the land of brakes. If you want to talk about it, by all means, reach out to us. We'll have a conversation, or reach out here. I actually prefer if you put your questions in the comments here, because that way I can shoot a video about it and thousands of people can see it, not just 1 or 2. And so it's just a better use of time for everybody, and we're better together, okay? So put your comments in, grab this tool if you don't yet have it, and next time you do your brakes, don't let me find out. Don't let me catch you not taking a dial indicator to what you've done. It will make all the difference for you. All of the difference for you, okay? Stay safe out there, my friends. FICMRepair.com. Whatever you need, we got you. You need brakes, you need ball joints, you need tie rods, you need carrier bearings. We sell everything right on FICMRepair.com. If you're looking for something, you're not finding it, just drop us a note, hit us up on the contact us link. We rep for everybody. We're very vendor neutral. We don't have a dog in the hunt. All we want to do is help you, and I hope it's coming through. FICMRepair.com. We're all in this together. Thanks, Sylvester.